It just feels too good, man. It just feels too good. What's going on, bud?
Man, same old same. How you?
Not even close. I'm not even buying that default answer. Not even close. Same old same. Are you serious? This is what you made, bro. And I don't know when you finished it, but I'm just hearing it. And music changes shape over time, man. And for me, it feels like a timeless one. How is it changing shape for you? Listen to it now versus when you made it.
It's just one of those ones, bro. You could just listen to that over and over again. That's like really what I'm into these days. And it seems as though like, it seems like that's what we as musicians would want all the time.
Yes.
and we do, but there's just certain like pockets in your life of moments when you feel the rush and you feel the intensity and you feel the magnetism of something that makes you want to listen to it over and over and over again. And that isn't always the case. Even if you're making them joints that like, you just want to put on repeat, the desire and the hunger for it isn't always level. It has its valleys and peaks. And right now I'm just like ravenous.
It raises a really interesting question about the relationship between the music that you make and the small window you have to listen to it with fresh perspective, right? Almost from a fan's perspective. And then the releasing of the music to us as fans, and we get to live with it forever. And I don't know, man. It's like, it feels like that tiny little moment that you have when it's just yours. It's kind of special.
Well, when you make it and then you listen to it in the whip, like, that's when at stoplights, stoplights on the highway, like that's when you just know. And this is just one of them ones. It's because it's also hearing Travis in rare form, it's a 6/8 dance record, mid-tempo. It's like, just hearing him and that zone, just like, it's great.
And this is something I think that we as people continually underestimate about Trav, is just how much of an adventurer he is and a traveler he is, and how much he wants to go explore new musical terrain. People love to keep him in his antidote. They love to keep him in his pick up the phone zone, but it's not like he's really like into like some far out.
Yeah, 100%. And like when he commits to it, it just, he brings what he brings to it. Cause like when I played it for him, I wasn't sure he was in the mood for that, but I knew he could do it because I made it for him. But I knew that he could do it. But I just didn't know whether he was going to be in the mood for that, right? Because a lot of our music is led by mood. And he just dove right in. And, we had been on a high ever since, like, he recorded it that night. Like, it's just something we just listen to over and over and over again. I mean, how many times have you heard it?
Oh, man, I put it on yesterday. I ran downstairs, and you won't mind me doing this because I'm at home and no one else has heard it. I played it to my kid who had already heard the leak, who just sang it back to me word for word. And then I was like, all right, you've heard. I was like, you've heard it. And he goes, not all of it. Keep playing it. Listen to it. Then we listened to it again. Then I went upstairs, listened to it again. To ask you a question, probably a dozen times since yesterday.
There we go. It's infectious, man. That's the way I would describe. That song. It's infectious.
You talked about mood, and it's funny, when you've got something that somebody can rise to, that can lean into, that's special, that's going to be special, but you recognize that the mood isn't there necessarily at the beginning of the session or at the beginning of the day. How do you know when it's worth pushing forward or when you have to park that and pivot?
When it's already unique, that's like 50% of it. The other 50% is to make it undeniable.
Yeah.
And so when you got that first 50%, like, oh, okay, this is a very different direction and no one's doing this, then it's worth fighting for. And sometimes you get all the way to 80%, but you're not there. So that means it's just not ready. But the skeleton, 50%, the skeleton is different. So now it's just on you to like complete it with the flesh.
You described instinct and diligence perfectly there, P.
Thank you.
You said you made it for Trav. You made this for Trav, and you make your music for everybody, but you could have gone in multiple directions when you knew you had time with Travis. Why did you decide to go into, as you said, a 6/8 mid-tempo dance groove?
Because I wanted to hear him in another space. 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 I wan That's my job. My job is to push. I think that's my purpose on this planet, is to push in different categories, push in design, push in songwriting, push in production, push in, um, push in innovation, push not in politics, but push in community, push in entrepreneurship, um, you know, and most importantly, push spiritually and push within myself to be a better person.
For me in my job, it's not even a job. In my passion, a lot of the curiosity and the true greatness is in the silences. I used to think it was in the questions and the answers, but it's actually in the space in between, the collecting of the thoughts. Where does it exist for you when you're in the room? Where is the unspoken magic? Where does it hide?
And contemplation. It's the magical space and time where ideas are received and formulated. It's where all the magic happens. It's before your finger ever plays one note. It's what you just said. It's that silence. It's that space where like the universe sends you something. Man, I just calculated the other day. I thought, it's only doing 20 some years, but Rump Shaker came out like, I'm not sure if it was August or October. Might have been August 25th, 1992. I need to figure that out. It's been 30 years since I've released something commercially. My first thing, it went double platinum. So, Teddy and, and also Rex and Effects, like, man, I was so grateful to be able to write on something like that. And it's been 30 years of like, I really write, I really produce, I really like compose, like I really do this, bro. Like I really do it and I really love it, I really love this. And so, when I'm up here right now talking about down in Atlanta with Travis Scott, it's like, don't play with me, man. This is what I do, bro. This is what I do. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'd be trying to be cool. You know what I mean? I'd be trying to be cool. I'd be trying to be cool, man. And I'm gonna, cause that's my job. But be clear, this is what I do. This is what I love to do. This is what God gave me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna listen, my gift will never be spoken down upon. I will do everything in my power to highlight it because that's my job. We as human beings, I don't know if you know this, but we emit 14 to 20 photons just naturally by sitting there. But when we're in a state of contemplation, we can emit up to 100,000 photons. This is why they call it enlightenment. Yo, we are different. And it's not my fault if you don't know that you're fire. You know what I'm saying? But I know what I am. I know what God put in me. I know I'm a flame. I know it not just because get burnt getting too close, but I know, but because I'm here to light a light. That's my job, bro. And it's not my problem if you don't understand that was your job as well. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to light a light.
I got to ask you this. I've never asked you this. You raised something and the question popped into my head and I'm going to honor it. It's been 30 years since Rump Shaker, which we all knew as rap fans and music fans was an instant banger. And the remixes that came out and everything that came out and rolled around that song just kept it on the dance floor for a solid year.
Yep.
But you've spoken openly about your adoration and admiration for Tribe and have become close to all members of Tribe over the course of their lives, both present and now in spirituality. So as a child and as a fan of Tribe, when that lyric came out about hardcore rap, how did you feel as the creator of the song, fresh out the gate in a commercial world, but being an uber fan of the crew that you were being drawn towards through manifestation and through gravity, and there was that brief disconnection between where you stood and where they were at. Do you ever think about that?
My love for Tribe was always unwavering. And when they got into that whole dispute and there was that whole issue, like that broke my heart. I was like, you don't understand. Like, Q-Tip is the king.
Yeah.
Teddy at the time knew that. He knew that. He knew how I felt. Like, Q-Tip was the king. Bro, those guys, that whole native tongue organization set so many of us free.
It's a golden era, man. It really is.
Yeah, man. Yo, we were skateboarding at that time.
Kings and queens, like spiritual kings and queens who changed the game.
Forget it, bro. All of them.
You're saying you're skateboarding?
Yeah, at the time, I was skating. De La Soul, Tribe, Tribe Called Quest, Jungle Brothers, you know,
Black
Latifah, Black Sheep, Latifah was in there, KMD was in there.
Moni Love.
Yo, listen, all of them, bro. All of them. Yeah, and Leaders was in there too.
Yeah.
All of them, all of that energy set us free. Set us free, bro. We were skateboarding at the time, and like, you know, there wasn't many of us. That representation was not like out there like that, you know. So like they were like the freest of the freest. So it's like we were listening to that, but we were still listening to like some of the other stuff that my other skater friends were listening to. They listened to like a lot of punk, you know, Black Flag, Dead Kennedys,
Minor Threat, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just talking to Tony Hawk yesterday, and he was reminding me of all the stuff that they were all listening to at the time, because that was their world and I was in their world. That was the stuff that I would hear, you know? But then but you got to understand, like, while all this like amazing rap music like LL and Run DMC and Eric B, and you know, I'll never forget when Eric B for President came out. I mean, shook the world. But then Slick Rick, who everyone knows, like that dude is like a deity. You know, Tribe and De La, when they came out, man, Jennifer, Oh Jenny, and Potholes in My Lawn, all of them records, bro. Them records and the way that they were dressing, bro. I'll never forget, like one of my homeboys at Independence Junior, his name was Moshe Bryant. Yo, he played me De La Soul for the first time. He's still I've never reconnected with him. I don't know where he is in life, but he has no idea. Like, he was one of the main ones that like set me on that trajectory because of that music. That music changed me, bro. So I went through all of this to say, when that happened between, you know, that whole thing between Tribe and
Rex
Teddy, and Rex and Effects, and Posse Deep, like, man, that hurt me, because those guys were my heroes, and I didn't even think that was like a diss. You know what I'm saying? It just was. It was just basically somebody vocalizing their preference, but you know,
preferences.
Yeah, but Harlem is different, bro. Harlem don't be playing no games. I also I love production, and I love making music, and I love songwriting. So, you know, as I approach my 50th orbit with a PH.
Same.
Right? As I approach my 50th orbit, this is what I want to be doing.
50, bro. Could you even imagine we'd be still here having these conversations at 50?
Bro, and doing it the way we want to do it, however we want to do it. God is the greatest.
Look at us, man. Look at us. Who'd have thought?
God is the greatest, bro.
Who'd have thought?
Yeah. God is the greatest.
God is the greatest. Hey, I love how every time I see you making music, it's in this space that feels free, and you're always standing, and there's movement, and everything's at chest height, and it doesn't feel like a usual studio, which is like sit down, you know, and move your swivel chair around. The whole thing feels very active. The room feels active. Is that what it is? Is that by design?
Nah, because it's a house, one. Two, the vibe is just amazing. And three, you know, there'll be like 2 or 3 rooms going. Like, I just go from room to room, artist to artist. Like, I love it, man. I'm so grateful.
That's the best ever. You wake up, knock back a chai latte, go from A to B to C, and just like make magic, man. What a life.
Yeah, man. Walk in there with the flamethrowers.